and then you branch out in those 3 different directions with 3 or 4 people, depending on how you want to play it. Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. In this video, we're going to be talking about the fastest way to get level 100. Now, I'm level 89. I've seen some of my friends and some of my clan mates and stuff like that hit level 100. I've seen it happen a few times, and I have a better grasp on how long it's going to take and the most efficient way to do this if your goal is to rush to level 100 and all of that. So I'm going to give you some perspective on this leveling process and what to do if you are prioritizing grinding XP as efficiently as possible. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing I want to do is open up the map and show you kind of where we're going to be headed to farm XP super efficiently. But I do want to take a quick second to let all of you know that the channel has been growing a lot here recently, been getting a lot of views and a lot of subscribers and all of that. And I definitely want to let you know that I notice it and I appreciate it, and it makes me really excited to grind the game and work on content and get better and better as a creator to bring you better information. So thank you, all of you. I appreciate it. So if I pop up the mini map to show you where we're going to be headed to, if you're familiar with Kyovashad over on the far east, kind of like the main starting town, then we're going to head straight southwest, and you're going to see this like circle of barren land. And on the bottom left of that, there's going to be a dungeon called Champion's Demise. Now, this is a dungeon that is super consistent, allows you to do it solo or in a group, and it is just the most consistent and regulated way to make sure you are farming XP efficiently. And I did do a video here on my channel about this spot, but I kind of framed it in a power leveling way, and that was my fault. I framed the video poorly, so people thought this was like a power leveling method where you have to rely on a group to help you farm XP, because you can use it for that. This method is so amazing because the map basically splits in 3 different directions right here from where you start. And what you can do is you can have one person just sit here in the middle or sit at the dungeon door while the 3 friends kind of branch out and clear the different lanes, we call them, in Champion's Demise. And then those 3 people are getting really good XP. And then also the person being power leveled is getting good XP. But you don't have to do that. So the way that you want to do it, if all 4 people are trying to play, is you would take your 2 weakest people and send them down 1 lane, and then take your 2 strongest people and send them down 1 lane a piece. That way you're covering all 3 lanes when you are farming XP, and it is super, super efficient. You're all basically going in a straight line, no doors, no objectives, anything like that. And then when you get to the dead end of your straight line, you just reset the dungeon, and I'll show you how that process works as well. So when you start the dungeon, you can see that we're in kind of like the middle right here. So what we would do is we'd have one person go down this bottom right side and just start clearing mobs like this, and continue to go down this bottom right side. But there's also another lane right over here down the bottom middle. So you would also want another person clearing in this direction down the bottom middle. And then there's also another lane up towards kind of the top left of the map. So this will be the 3rd lane right here. And you'd also want somebody going up here to clear this lane, and you get progress in those 3 different directions, constantly killing things and gaining XP. So then I can kind of go back to the middle and show you on the mini map what this is going to look like. Now, this is important. You got to prioritize these shaman, because they will buff everything around them, and it's super annoying to deal with. So you definitely want to prioritize kind of like the support champions of the enemies. And don't waste your time like this. I'm just doing this so I can pop it open. But if you're hitting 1 or 2 things, move on to the next pack. You want to be killing like 10 plus mobs at a time. And if all 3 of you, all 4 of you are doing that, you're constantly killing like 30 and 40 mobs at a time. But now on the map, you can see kind of those 3 different directions that I went in Champion's Demise. You've got that bottom right, you've got that center lane towards the bottom left, and then you've got that lane towards the top left. And that's pretty consistent. It's not always exactly the same layout, but it's usually you port into the dungeon on that far right side, you come to the middle by heading to the west, and then you branch out in those 3 different directions with 3 or 4 people, depending on how you want to play it. You can send the 3 people while someone gets power leveled, and you can take turns leveling up alternate champions with your friends or whatever, or all 4 of you can play, and you send the 2 weakest people down 1 lane to clear it together, and your 2 strongest people down their own lane to clear that. So you're constantly killing packs of 40 and 50 mobs together by split farming this dungeon. And in terms of numbers that you can expect, it's pretty easy to calculate your XP per hour. What you would want to do is mouse over your bar and see what your current XP is, and then start a timer and see how long it's taking your group to clear their 3 lanes and get to a point where you want to reset. and then just go ahead and use the time versus the XP gained to calculate your XP per hour. Now, I've done this hundreds of times, trying to monitor the numbers when I'm comparing different dungeons and different areas in the game and open world farming and all of that. And when I'm actually clearing this with a solid group that can clear all 3 lanes at a pretty good pace, I've noticed that the XP per hour is somewhere around 25 million XP per hour, which it takes about 25 million to go from level 99 to level 100. So you can go from level 99 to level 100 in just 1 hour by farming this with a good group that can clear all 3 lanes on World Tier 4. So that means an optimized endgame group is getting that 25 million per hour. If you include downtime, it's going to be about maybe 15 to 20 million XP per hour, depending on how efficient people are about going to town and all of that. The way that we like to do it is we never stop the runs. So we have a group of 4, and every run we alternate who's going to town to quickly kind of sell their yellows and salvage their aspects and crunch their gear and all of that. That way it takes that person about a minute and a half or whatever, and then they can port back in whenever they're ready, and you've got the other 3 people still getting XP down their respective lanes. And then you just rotate every 4 runs who's going to town, instead of hard stopping, like having all 4 people be like, hey, let's all go to town and sell. That's like possibly 2 or 3 minutes that you stop running the dungeon at all. It's better. I mean, it takes a little bit more effort, but if you really want to be efficient, you just take turns on who's going to town, and that way you're at least getting XP always, and the dungeon is active within your group nonstop. But when you do get to the end of the dungeon, let's say all people, all 3, all 4 people, whatever, have gotten to the end of their lane, and it's time to reset the dungeon. Now, this is a hot topic. Some people are in favor of resetting dungeons. Some people want Blizzard to patch it and change it. So we'll have to see how this gets adjusted and addressed by Blizzard in the future. Who knows how long this is going to be a thing. But anyway, for now, in the context of getting efficient XP and clearing this dungeon consistently, if you're in a party, what you would do is when everybody has gotten to the end of their lane, you're going to have your portraits over here on the left side indicating your group, and you just click on that and leave party. So you have one person who is like the resetter, and they leave the party. When you're in a group and you're in a dungeon, when you click leave party, it will automatically take you out of the dungeon and put you back at the dungeon door. You click on the dungeon door, and then your whole group just requests on you, and you are in as the resetter are in a brand new dungeon. They request on you, and by the time that you have walked over to the middle, they can port on you, and boom, you go down the 3 lanes again. So if you're doing this effectively, you can do this whole process in under 3 minutes. It'll take like a minute 45 to 2 minutes for each person to clear their lane, and then by the time you reset the dungeon and you come back in, you get to the middle, everybody ports on you, and you go down your respective lanes. That takes about a minute. So really, really good groups will do this whole rotation in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And then people that are kind of learning it, maybe they're getting used to the whole process, it might take them somewhere between 3.5 or 4 minutes. But as you get more and more optimized, you'll be doing this about every 3 minutes and start hitting that 25 million an hour XP threshold. And you don't have to do this Champion's Demise dungeon. We're always testing other stuff. We were just testing other dungeons last night in Discord and crunching the numbers and spreadsheets and doing the math and all that. And we did find another dungeon that I believe Veiled Shot was going to cover over on his channel. We did find a dungeon where we were getting close. We were getting to like 21, 22 million XP an hour. So there is other options besides just doing Champion's Demise. But in terms of like the most effective way to hit level 100, as we understand it currently, I think it's going to be this method here, which is the lane split farming in this Champion's Demise dungeon. And if another method comes up that is superior to this one, where we're getting like 30 something million XP per hour, I'll definitely keep you in the loop here on the channel. There was that dungeon where we were getting like 35 to 40 million XP per hour, but it was a dungeon that wasn't functioning properly, I guess, according to Blizzard. It was the one that they ended up nerfing, where you were spawning in like 45 elite packs in one room in a dungeon, and that was hitting about 40 million XP per hour. But since that one got hot fixed by Blizzard, they haven't touched this mechanic yet. As far as I'm aware, they have not touched this mechanic yet, so we're still able to get about 25 million XP per hour doing Champion's Demise. And I am also going to be getting you a detailed breakdown of all of the math that goes into hitting level 100 in a separate video, where we do a dedicated discussion on that to let you know exactly how long it's going to take if you kind of start doing this at level 60 or whatever. You're trying to finish the campaign, you're trying to play through the game. How long will it take you if you play efficiently to hit level 100? I'm going to kind of crunch that math here over like Saturday night and Sunday, and I'm gonna try to get you a dedicated video here on the channel to let you know exactly what the time frame is going to be on that process if you are planning to play the game solo or in a group, and all those different considerations. So I appreciate all of you, and remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Diablo 4 content. Thank you for all the support recently. I will see you soon in the next video. Have a great weekend. Peace.